round of the IBS School Debate Competition in Enga, and I would like to announce the lineup for the elimination today. The schools for today is Coppin Secondary vs Highlands Lutheran International School, and Pogera High School vs Kandep High School, Surinki High School vs Compiam High School, TVET Wapenamanda vs TVET Pogera, and Jubileum High School vs 4 Square High School. So round of applause for the schools that are participating today. Probably one thing I'd like to stress to the schools that, you're here to mingle with one another. So when there is a free time, whatever it is, take an opportunity to meet your other fellow colleagues as well, because you're all Engans, and no one is different. And this is what the IBS School Debate Competition is all about too. So who knows, you might be working in the future together. Okay, let me now introduce to you our adjudicators for today. Our first adjudicator is Mr. Basil Murian, Senior Secondary School Inspector for Enga. And our second adjudicator for today, Mr. John Iko from Port Moresby. He is the Executive Director and founder of Weekend PNG, and also one of the pioneer judges for the IBS School Debate Competition. And our third adjudicator for today is Mr. Mickey Martin, Primary School Inspector for Enga. And our last adjudicator for today is Mrs. Monica Emeline, Provincial Superintendent Reform for Enga. So a round of applause for the adjudicators. And of course, our handsome timekeeper, Paul Andrew of Department of Education. So a round of applause for Paul Andrew. So we're getting into the competition now. So before I do so, we'll read the rules. It's important that I have to read the rules before the competition begins. Okay, the debate rules. Each team should comprise of 4 core members and 2 reserves. The core members will only be replaced in the event that any of the core member is unfit due to circumstances beyond control. Replacement should not be done during finals. The team will consist of new members, of course, for the first time. All the participants are new. And also, the team should promote gender balance. The debate will be carried out in rounds, as we witnessed yesterday, and today is also the elimination round, and tomorrow we will have the semi-finals in the morning and the grand final in the afternoon, soon after the semi-final. So we will see who will be the top 4 schools into the semi, and also top 2 for the grand final. The teams are given 1 debate topic each, and also the final round topics are also given at the same time so that they can prepare in advance. Draw has taken place whether a team is for or against the topic to avoid biasness. And the same will be done for semi-finals and the final as well. It's very important for the speakers to take note. The first speaker to the third speaker get 5 minutes each, while the last speaker get 10 minutes. Warning bell will be given on the last minute, 1 minute before the final time, and also on final time. If I can get the timekeeper to demonstrate, the warning bell 1 minute before the final time is 1 bell. And double time on final time. Thank you. Strictly palm cards with short notes, no other form of notes are allowed, and no other devices such as mobile phones and etc. Participants must face the audience, and strictly no personal attacks when rebutting. Participants must professionally and be diplomatic in arguing their case. Strictly no mention of bureaucrats' names while arguing your case unless you want to reference an article in the paper. And the scoring will be given by judges using the adjudicating sheet based on 3 areas, which is meta, method, and manner. Each individual gains a score for presentation and is given out of 115. In the event that the schools don't turn up, will be forfeited and the opponent school advance to the next round. For an open and fair judgment, the judges will be prominent independent judges, of course, as you can see in front of us, and the judge's decision is final. The winning team in the grand final will get the finalist prize, that is representing Enga in the IBS National Debate Competition, and 5,000 kina worth of school materials. And the second placing gets about 3,000 kina worth of school materials, and the third placing gets about 2,000 kina worth of school materials, and all participants walk away with merchandise that is sponsored by IBS. And all of the preparations are of course done by the schools themselves. So thank you very much for that, and we will get into the competition. So are we all excited? The two schools that are going first are Copen Secondary and Highlands Lutheran International School. So these are the two schools that will kick off the day for today, and I'm sure we will enjoy the rest of the afternoon, or rest of the day today. So if I can now call upon Copen Secondary and Highlands Lutheran International School to make their way to the stage. Lauren. Can you all come up to the stage, please? Let us give a round of applause to the two schools, Copen Secondary and Highlands Lutheran International School. Copen Secondary, the affirmative team, up against Highlands Lutheran International School, the opposing team. Their topic for debate is the LNG project has more negative effects for Papua New Guinea. Introducing the team, Copen Secondary. The first speaker for Copen Secondary is Karen Iparun, 16 years of age, grade 10, from Enga, and would like to be a pilot in the future. The second speaker of Copen Secondary is Jonah Liaki, 19 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be an engineer. The third speaker of Copen Secondary is Kita Minonga, 19 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a doctor. And the fourth speaker of Copen Secondary is Nelson Peter, 20 years of age, in grade 11, from Enga, and would like to be a pilot. So a round of applause for the Copen Secondary team. The Highlands Lutheran International School team. The first speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School is Chris Jeremiah, 19 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be a surveyor. And the second speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School is Lorna Komba, 17 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be an engineer as well. And the third speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School is Hemen Nia, 18 years of age, in grade 12, from Enga, and would like to be an architect. And the last and final speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School is Stacy Yallo, 18 years of age, in grade 12, from Southern Highlands, and would like to be a lawyer. So a round of applause for the Highlands Lutheran International team. If I can ask the two teams to shake hands and take their seat. Ladies and gentlemen, and viewers of Kundu 2, the IBS School Debate Competition is proudly brought to you by our presenting partners, Kundu 2 and BC, And New Guinea, our major sponsors, Ipatas Foundation, Honorable Governor Peter Ipatas for Enga Competition, NCDC Governor Honorable Powers Pakop, National Gaming Control Board, Electoral Commission, Office of Climate Change, LNA Group of Companies, NASFAN, Brian Bell, and Honorable Luther Wenge for Morobe Province. And thank you to Sete Abel for hosting the IBS School Debate Competition here in Enga. Enjoy the debate and hope your viewers out there learn something and witness great debate from our young leaders of our nation. Enga, are we ready?
Yes.
Let the competition begin. And the competition is between Copen Secondary and Highlands Lutheran International School, and the topic for debate today is the LNG project has more negative effects for PNG. Let me now introduce to you our first speaker for Copen Secondary, Karen Iparun.
Good morning, the chair lady, the honest adjudicators, the timekeeper, and not forgetting my viewers and my debating colleagues and those around the country. We, the affirmatives, will be elaborating on the negative effects of LNG to the country. I'm the first speaker, and I'll be emphasizing on the economical effects by LNG to the country. And my second speaker will be talking about the social issues, and the third speaker will be emphasizing on the environmental problems, and the final speaker will be emphasizing and further emphasizing and summarizing the negative effects of LNG. Firstly, economical effects in terms of disadvantage of landowners by not receiving their royalty payments properly. As you can see, our own soulmates up at Pogra are receiving 50 kina monthly payments, rather than, majority of them are receiving that, while the others are enjoying their life. For example, like, we're not benefiting from Pogra, aren't we? Then we won't be benefiting from LNG as well. If Pogra is practicing this, then why are we expecting LNG to do some, LNG, another country's own company that will benefit and put adequate royalty payments. Secondly, my second point is about inflation. What is inflation anyway? Well, inflation is the increase of goods and services, increase in prices of goods and services when there is an economical boom. Just look at the total population of the country. Almost 85% of the total population are living in the rural areas, while the other remaining percentage are in the cities. For instance, rice is now becoming the staple food for us, Engans, and the other provinces as well, even though sweet potato is here with us. Currently, the price of rice is 5 kina, whereas about 10 years ago, it was 2 kina, 52, and that is inflation. Do you think that the people in the rural areas can afford rice in the same way as those in the working sectors? I don't think so. I mean, don't you really care about your grannies and your hardworking parents back at home? Finally, as a result of inflation, a huge gap is created between the rich and the poor. The rich will become richer and the poor will become poorer. One critical example is that those who are wearing sandals will be going for shoes, while those who are barefooted will be considered as barefooters. To conclude, LNG is having a lot of negative impacts, and for these reasons, we, the affirmative, strongly and firmly say that LNG should not exist and prescribe here in PNG, because it is a catastrophe to the country in terms of economy, isn't it? Thank you, judges, the chair lady, and the audience for your silent atmosphere Thank you.
round of applause for the first speaker of Coppin Secondary going for the topic, Karen Iparun. Let me now call upon the first speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School, Chris Jeremiah, going against the topic, the LNG project has more negative effects of PNG. Let's hear what he has to say.
Good morning, judges, timekeeper, the students who are here at WABAG Secondary, and the government, and not forgetting my opposition members and the viewers throughout Papua New Guinea. With your opposition members, we'll be debating about the negative effects that LNG has on Papua New Guinea, or the liquidation of natural gas at Southern Islands has negative effects on Papua New Guinea. My opposition members and I will be arguing against the topic, saying that LNG has positive effects on Papua New Guinea. And about positive effects, we're looking at like roads, construction of roads, bridges, like the construction that is yet to take place up at WABAG, the hospital which is funded by LNG, and the Ella Open Air Teachers College, which is yet to be constructed at Islands, which I think all Papua New Guineans will benefit from. Okay. To talk about LNG. LNG is an American company known as ExxonMobil, which extracts gas from the earth, which then liquefies the gas, and that gas is being like transported out to various parts of Papua New Guinea. Okay, as the chairlady has introduced my fellow opposition members, I would like to give an overview of the presentation. The second speaker and I will emphasize on the social impacts, while the third speaker will elaborate on the economics impacts, while on the other hand, my fourth speaker will sum up and continue on where the third speaker has left on. I assure you that after hearing our points, my three opposition members will leave you in no doubt that LNG has positive effects on Papua New Guinea. Okay, now to my first point. Educational opportunities. When we talk about educational opportunities, these are like privileges that students get to go and study like overseas, or those are like privileges that students get to study or like study at better institutions. And what, like for instance, like the LNG project might sponsor a handful of students to study within or outside Papua New Guinea. And like one good example of that, like benefits from companies one good example of that is Porgera Gold Mine. In 2006, Porgera Gold Mine has sponsored 2 students to go and study overseas. Okay, to my second point. Culture. Okay, as we all know, like in order to gain something, a risk must be taken. You lose something and then you gain something, right? And then, yeah. It's like, in relation to that, what I've just mentioned earlier, like PNG has to make sacrifices in order to face or see development. In order to like PNG to see development, sacrifices must be taken. And, well, yeah. Yeah, okay, then I would like to rebut, before I close up with this, I'd like to rebut on what the first speaker of the government has said. She said something about like inflation, like inflation, like saying that the prices of foods will actually increase in like areas where like development is, but like a businessman won't actually risk his business like if he actually increases the price in like foods and like selling his products, like he'll be in fear of like running out of business, right? And then yeah, with that I like to thank you.
Round of applause for the first speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School, Chris Jeremiah. I think we should applaud them for their courage and confidence to be up on stage. So they're doing brilliant. It's the first time, but I'm sure that practice will make perfect. So we've got to support that. It's all about development, huh? So let's not laugh at our fellow kids up here. I'm sure next time you'll be up on stage. Anyway, introducing the second speaker of Coppin Secondary, John Aliaki, going for the topic, the LNG project has more negative effects for PNG.
Thank you, the chairperson and the educators, the honesty timekeeper, and the audience, and not forgetting the nation viewers. Before, I would be emphasizing on social effects about LNG. Before I go for my topic, I would like to rebut on what my opinion, the government side has said about education. Since we have the largest gold mine in the province, in Anga province, the second largest gold mine, Porgera gold mine, I don't think we are benefiting a lot from Porgera gold mine. Have you seen a benefit from Porgera gold mine as a citizen of Anga? No. I don't think so. Absolutely, I'm sure that I haven't benefited from Porgera gold mine. All right, to my point. When LNG is in PNG, there will be an increase in criminal activities. You know, nowadays criminals are looking for money, and LNG is funding more money into the country. And there will be a high cash flow in the country. And you know, what do you know the criminals going to do? They're going to multiply and increase. That's the truth that I'm telling you, my friends. And you know, even though we got law and order in place, I don't think law and order is going to work for us because it's not that tough nowadays. Even the public servants are involving in corruption. A good example for us is like Patrick Pukas, who has endorsed William Caprice to go and rob banks. That's a good example. And I don't think law and order is going to work for us. Secondly, there will be violence and a widespread of age. People who are engaged to LNG, they will have a lot of money. While having a lot of money, it has been a practice, it has been a custom practice to us that people married to a lot of wives. When they marry to a lot of wives, they're going to leave their whole life and they'll be carried away with their new wives. And that's going to cause, that will be a violence. And you know what the old wife going to do? The old wife plus the children, they're going to become prostitutes and rascals in the country, man. And also there will be an integration of prostitution rate. When there is, as you can see nowadays in towns and cities, where there is a high cash flow, the prostitution rate is increasing. And up at LNG, I definitely know for sure that the prostitution rate will increase there. Finally, but not the least, there will be introduction of new diseases in the country by the LNG. LNG as a huge project in the country, they will employ experts from foreign countries to come and work in the country to mine the gas. As they do this, these people, the foreigners, they're going to bring new diseases that are in their countries to our countries, like AIDS. AIDS has been a new introduced disease to the country. It was not here, and it was not known by our ancestors. As we all know, that social issues has been here since the beginning of our ancestors. Since the beginning of our ancestors, LNG is going to bring, as a multi-million project in the country, is going to bring more social issues into the country, which will be like you and I adding a fuel into a burning fire. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I think LNG is not good for the country. And I strongly suggest that LNG should not be in the country. Thank you.
Round of applause for the second speaker of Copen Secondary, Jonah Liaki. Let me now introduce to you our second speaker, Lorna Komba of Highlands Lutheran International School, going against the topic, the LNG project has more negative effects for PNG.
Hello, the chair lady, the adjudicators, the audience, the government side, my fellow opposition members, and all the viewers of Kundutu across the nation. I, as the second speaker, will be speaking about some social impacts in PNG. I will be more emphasizing on the infrastructural benefits and their effects in each and every individual lives in PNG. First of all, before I begin, I would like to rebut some assumptions made by the second speaker of the opposition, the government side. He said something about he said something about criminal activities increasing. Well, this is not true. We have new institutions coming up, which means that those criminal guys out there, the culprits out there, will be encouraged to attend those schools. And in addition to this, we have new constitutions coming up, that is new policy that is in place about new free education, and we have and one thing about and we have new government system in place as well. Now into my point, I will be more emphasizing on infrastructural benefits. First of all, health is very important in our lives, right? So in order to be healthy, we need improvement in health services. And now, yes, we are seeing more, for example, all Engans are aware of the new building that, the new hospital that is going to be built next to Aurelia, right? So, and one example is the Lay International Hospital has improved in health facilities. And one more example is now, before there wasn't any cervical cancer there wasn't any treatment for cervical cancer, but now it is being treated within Papua New Guinea. Women don't have to buy tickets or look for passport and visa to go out of country. And infrastructural benefits include airports, bridges, roads, and bridges and roads. For example, the Hela province. I think before there was old men and women were watching these airplanes just flying over them, and they were wondering those were big birds. But now they're realizing when the plane's touching down on their land, they're realizing that those are machines that were flying all over the place. So that is a good thing for old men and women too. They can see the changes in their place before they die. As my first speaker has said about schools, education is very important in a developing country. PNG is known as a developing country, right? So you as an individual, you as a proud Papua New Guinean, what do you think? Do you want your country to be developed or still to live in a developing country? Developed, yeah. So in order for your country to be developed, changes have to be made. You cannot have your cake and eat it, right? You cannot have two alternatives, like still having your own culture within you and then like you're wanting development in your country, but you have to lose something. You have to lose your culture if you want development in your nation, right? So in addition to education, we have a lot of institutions coming up in Enga, especially the Polytechnical College, the Enga Teachers College in Irelia. I think there's more to it. The Technical College, yeah, the Enga Teachers College, and as LNG requires more skilled men and women. So that is why the Enga government has put in a lot of effort to bring up the Enga technical colleges, and you and I have a privilege to enter those, to get a job in the, LNG project. And to conclude, I would like to say that, therefore, my team and I will undoubtedly leave you that PNG, LNG has more positive effects for PNG. Thank you.
Round of applause for the second speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School, Lorna Komba. Let me now introduce to you our third speaker of Coppin Secondary, Skita Minonga, going for the topic.
Thank you, the chairperson, the adjudicators, the timekeeper, the audience, and not forgetting the viewers around the nation. Thank you. As a third speaker, I'm going to talk about the environmental impacts which the LNG project is bringing into our nation. As the second speaker of the government that said about the infrastructural benefits in PNG. Infrastructural benefits in PNG about the road buildings. As you can see that the road buildings, yeah, the LNG, the roads are not sealed. Though the LNG is here, but the road is not sealed. And I think that the road is not going to seal for the rest of the LNG is going to implement in PNG. Okay, the next thing is about the health services. Health services, we have enough hospitals, international hospitals, 8 posts here in PNG. So we have to make use of those 8 posts rather than building in new hospitals and yeah, like that. That's on that. Okay, my first point, severe environmental associated with the LNG project. Okay, the first point, pollution. Pollution refers to many pollutions are taking place here in PNG. Okay, the first is water pollution. Once the waste of the, once the LNG gas is being extracted, the waste are going to pollute the water. For example, like here in Pogera, as we are sitting here right now, some of the students, just like you and I, are admitting in the hospital by just drinking the contaminated water from the, yeah. Here at the LNG, after the gas is going to be extracted, the wasted will spoil the water, fresh water, from the virginity of the LNG project. The second point is about the global warming. Because of the cars and factories around PNG, global warming is becoming the main factor, factor to the nation, which is that it is polluting the ozone layer, the air that we are breathing to survive on this planet so-called Earth. So LNG is going to be one major factor to the pollution of the global warming. Another addition to the global warming, production of the more carbon monoxide. It is carbon monoxide. It affects the ozone layer. It affects the ozone layer and yeah, it affects the ozone layer. Thank you. I'm so sorry. it's affect the ozone layer, and as you can see, the climates are changing. Here in Enga, the heat of the sun is very hot, and I think that not most of us are sitting outside the sun to get vitamin D. Yes. So, as well as the polar regions are having the ice caps are melting, and the islands are covered by the rise of the sea level. And as being a Papua New Guineans, we are living in this. Papua New Guinea is a small island. So I think that it's going to cover our nation after, 10 to 20 years' time. Okay, to sum up, as me and my fellow mates, as being a government, I think that we know for sure that LNG is going to bring in more negative impacts into our nation. So we strongly say that it's good that LNG is created. Thank you, the chair lady, the adjudicators, and the audience. Thank you.
Round of applause for the third speaker of Coppin Secondary's Kita Minonga. Let me now introduce to you our third speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School, Haman Nia.
Thank you, lovely chairperson, respective judges, our handsome timekeeper, my attentive audience, and the viewers across the nation. I am the third speaker for the opposition, and as you're already aware, I'm going to convince you that LNG project has more benefits, more beneficial effects, good effects to our country as a whole. Before I proceed, I would like to rebut on this lovely lady's points. She said something about destroying the environment and polluting the river systems. Production hasn't occurred yet, and she said something about right now kids are in hospitals coughing and getting sick. Well, that's not true. And she said something about us as a country. We are not industrialized, you must know that. And she said something about us creating pollution. I don't see anywhere where there's smoke rising and destroying our atmosphere. I'm sorry about that. Okay, now to my first point. LNG project will effectively cause a major increase in the number of employment opportunities around the country. Now, in LNG, just in the LNG area, there are 7,500 employment, like full-time jobs available right now. That's just in the production process. I mean, not before the production process. And 20% of those, they're going to give them straight to the locals, meaning that the locals are going to make use of that. They're going to use their time wisely, and they're going to make use of their skills, like say driving, like fixing roads, just like, standing there and holding stop and go signs. They make a lot of money just by doing that because of the LNG project, and they're going to benefit so much for that. Okay, sorry. Okay, when like as my first two speakers pointed out, they're building institutions, educational institutions like Teachers College down at Teramanda. There's a small what do you call this, elementary school, Amala. They might be small, but in the future, all our students, our growing young generations are going to be more educated. And when they're more educated, they're going to be able to get the jobs that are available. Because of the LNG project, more companies, more firms, businesses are going to come into our country. And so more employment opportunities are going to be available. And that means that when our children are being educated, they have more chance of going into that business, like getting employed. And I want to support what my first two speakers said about them being educated and getting bread and butter on the table, so they don't have to go around robbing other people or stealing. And there's going to be chain reactions, very positive chain reactions. Like when we all work right now, 16% of us, of these almost 7 million people are employed. That means that we don't get too much. The government doesn't take a lot of tax revenue. And that is why we don't see much improvement in our infrastructural areas like repairing of roads. But when more people are working, we pay tax more, the government gets more revenue. And we say that the government is for the people, by the people, to the people. So in return, the government is going to give to the people. when they get the money. And so right now we're experiencing some improvements in WABAG, like right in front of our eyes. The roads are going to be sealed, the drainage systems, the Bharat, and the road from WABAG to Danathagen is being repaired, so we don't have to miss potholes and all this, and have sore backs by the time we get to our destination. That's a good thing. And WABAG General Hospital, we're getting more buildings and more facilities, more equipment into there, so that our people have more chance, of getting rid of the sicknesses. Sopas Hospital is going to reopen, and we have a WABAG Enga Provincial Hospital. That's good. We have 3 big hospitals in Enga. We should be proud of that. Okay, my last point is that there's going to be increase in our kina. Like if you go to Australia and you have 300 kina here, when you go down there, you're going to change it to $150. That's horrible. So when you have an increase in kina, then you you get 300 kina here, you go down there, you get $300. That is a good bargain. And we're going to pay for our borrowings. We borrow a lot because our economically we're not tough enough, so we borrow a lot. So when we get more money from the LNG, we get to pay back, and that means we won't pass it on to our younger generations. So it's going to be. And so please, I'm here to convince you that the LNG project is a wind of change. A wind of change that is going to blow away the doubts and fear that people like the government are putting into our minds. So you are going to benefit. You future leaders sitting right there watching me, you're going to benefit so much from it. So please join us.
Round of applause for the third speaker of Highlands Literary International School, Haman Nia. Let me now introduce to you our last and final speaker for Coppin Secondary, going for the topic, the LNG project has more negative effects for PNG, Nelson Peter.
Thank you very much, MC. And good morning, the adjudicators, the MC, the timekeeper, and not forgetting the sweet roses under the good roof. Now, before I summarize on what my affirmatives have said, I just like to rebut some of the statements made by my non-affirmatives. Now, he said something about the employment opportunities in the country. Well, we don't think so. Employment opportunities nowadays, we are living in the country's so-called PNG. Now, whom you know is better than what you know. That is the system that is played in the country. That is what they call nepotism. If you know somebody who works in the company, you're going to be employed. If not, I'm sorry. And now, you're talking about developments in the country. Now, the Anga Teachers College is not being funded by the LNG. It has been funded by the national government. It was not a fed line. Now, I would like to talk about the more things that is going to come. And it is happening today. In the world that we are living, the so-called planet Earth is affected by the very big thing in the world today is the global warming. People are having G8 meeting, G6 meeting everywhere, and there is no solution to the problem. No. You're talking about this methane gas down in the LNG is one of those contributing factors. When the methane gas is burned down, it breaks into 2 different things. This is what they call decomposition reaction. It breaks into 2 different things. That is water, and it turns into the gas so-called carbon dioxide, which is the greenhouse emission gas. And then you're talking about this oil. When they ban all these things, they produce different types of greenhouse emission gases called carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. These are some of the things that will be that will be contributed to the global warming in the world today. That is one of the environmental focus in the world. That is, people are trying to solve it. People are having meeting here and there, but there is no solution to the problem. Now, I'm going to elaborate more on the social issues. Social issues you're talking about there was another LNG project in the country so-called Nigeria in the African continent. It has been operated by this same company, ExxonMobil. Now the landowners have been brought to Bahamas and they placed their residing places out there. And this ExxonMobil has its own military forces. So these military forces, they control over the mine, and now Nigeria is below the poverty rate. And this is, Nigeria is one of those developing countries in the world today. And it has no name in the world today, though it has LNG project in there for the last, for some decades ago. And I would like to elaborate more on criminal activities. There will be involvement of criminal activities. Now, we have this problem called law and order problem. And there will be no solution to the criminal activities. You're talking about William Caprice is one of those criminals in our country, which we have some professionals involved in that. We have some police forces involved in that. So our police force, when our police force is involving in the law and order problem, well, how can we solve this law and order problem? There will be more law and order problem because our country is corrupted by the so-called bribery. And then our government will be bribed by the company to reign and operate in this country. That is another thing. Now, the other thing is, when the mine site is deforested, when there is deforestation, well, there can be reforestation. But it takes a long more time to grow up. You can plant one tree. You can plant one tree, but it can take years to grow. But for destruction, it's easy one-day destruction, you see. And when there is this oil spillage, there can be a long-term effect, which cannot be solved. There can be long-term effect, and the oil spillage can affect the ecosystem. And there will be more long-term effects. Now, what my non-affirmatives are telling Papua New Guinea now is these issues are good for the country now. Are you agree on this? I don't think so. The other thing is, now the climate change, there was another person who came for the climate change in the night in Copenhagen. It was giving a little more awareness on the climate change. But this climate change is one of those current issues. Some of our island nations in the world today are emerging by the rise in the sea level. There was our newspaper last year. I read through it. It has been, it was a report from the meteorology office in the Australia, Oxford University. There was a professor called Nicholas Wells. He reported that the sea level is increasing 10 centimeters every day. And he reported that Tasmania was increased from June to July 10 meters. Tasmania sea level. Now the Himalayan glaciers are melting down. That was another statement made by Nicholas Wells. Now our island nation called Papua New Guinea can be emerged no longer. When you plant trees and wait for the greenhouse gases to emerge, the climate change and the rising of the sea level is trying to end this well down. And my non-affirmatives are telling Papua New Guinea now that these things are good for the country, and they believe that we will live when there is climate change. Now to conclude that the issues that I've just addressed here is going to be a big problem in the world today. That's why LNG is not good for the country, and it has more negative effects in the country today. Thank you, adjudicators, master of ceremony, the timekeeper, and the sweet roses of Sete Harbor Secondary School. Thank you very much, and may God bless.
Round of applause for the last and final speaker of Coppin Secondary, Nelson Peter. Let me now introduce to you our last and final speaker for Highlands Lutheran International School, going against the topic, the LNG project has more negative effects for PNG, Stacey Yellow.
Good morning, everyone. Timekeeper, adjudicators, audience, and viewers, not forgetting the chair lady. Before I begin, I would like to make a few rebuttals. The first speaker of the government mentioned something about landowners not being represented or being exploited. Well, firstly, let's get our facts right. We're talking about the liquidation of natural gas and not about mining or extraction of minerals. To begin with, I said I'm going to rebut. So the first speaker said that landowners are not being, they're not getting paid. Well, it's different. I mean, with the LNG, you have different landowner associations there. They have already, there's already landowner associations in place that represents the landowners, and their voice is being heard. It's obvious. We see it on the papers. Landowners, different landowner groups from Hides, Kutubu, Gobe, you name it. The list goes on. Their voice is being heard. The second speaker of the government mentioned something about criminals. Firstly, the criminal activities that we see in the country was before the LNG came in. Now that when LNG came in, these criminals, they have a reason to leave that activity. They have employment opportunities. They have to go to school. LNG bringing in these positive benefits, it encourages them to go, and leave these activities they're doing, and grab that opportunity to improve their quality of life. So I'm assuring you that criminal activities will see a decrease in the rate of criminal activities in PNG. The last speaker mentioned something about one-talk system. We see the change now in PNG. There's a change in government system. And there's also investigations going on regarding several high criminal cases. There's a change already. We are witnessing that right now. So one-talk system, now it's about qualification. It's about what skill you possess, what knowledge you have. It's not about one talk system. Everything is changing. It's about being a part of the global community. Oh, and the last speaker mentioned something about climate change, climate change and global warming and all that regarding the forest. If you're talking about destroying Amazon, well, yeah, there'll be a greater impact, but this is just a portion of the forest of the world, and I don't think it has much greater impact on global warming of the world. He mentioned also something about coal. Coal is different from the liquidation of natural gas, FYI. Now, with the environment, regarding the environment, if you go to the ExxonMobil website, there's a section there, their safety structure before the construction and during the construction and production. You know, in every activity that they do, they have people in place. They follow this structure. There's 11 what will I say? 11 points, safety points they take into consideration before they carry on their activities. And the 10th one is about community awareness and emergency preparedness. And that is a policy and plan that they follow before, like I mentioned, before they actually carry out their work. So you don't need to be worried, PNG is in good hands. ExxonMobil is an internationally recognized company. It has a reputation. It has a good reputation, so you don't need to be worried. Actually, in fact, before the construction took place in 2007, the affiliates concerned with the landowners and the government in 2007, they sat together, they had a discussion, and they came up with outcomes. They agreed on certain things, not only to do with the royalty payments and all, but with the environment and how everything will be taken care of. The landowners, every group that should be present was there. They had an agreement. It wasn't biased. Everyone was there. So, yeah, PNG is in good hands. Now, to my first point. PNG, I mean, there's a lot of people predicting and fearing that there'll be a threat of a Dutch disease in PNG. I'd like to assure you that this is not true because, like I said, ExxonMobil, being an internationally recognized company, it is the company behind the LNG project. So as a result of that, we see that PNG is being advertised or internationally recognized as a result of LNG. PNG is put on the map, put on the world map, and we see an advertisement of PNG. And that's why we see tourists coming into PNG. I mean, we all witnessed it during the Enger show and the Hagen show with tourists coming, right? We all saw that. That's an example. Now, to sum up, LNG project it's going to be like a funding relief to the government, meaning that in terms of infrastructural benefits, economical benefits, and policy to stabilize the government. So we say that there'll be an increase in the real GDP or the GDP of PNG. That's 12.8 billion, an increase of 9 billion in the country. This can be found in the 2050 booklet, the Vision 2050 booklet, page 4. And yeah, as a result of that, there's employment opportunities, as my fellow team members have stressed. There's employment opportunities. So PNG has no excuse. There's work to be done. And that's why we see schools coming up to educate and to help the population of PNG to understand and to go out there and work and earn something for themselves to improve their living standards. And then we have as they go out and work and earn for themselves, they have a better chance to access good healthcare services and also afford basic goods and services like they haven't done before. I mean, this is LNG. Before LNG, there was nothing happening, but after LNG, we have everything. The evidence are just right in front of us. You cannot just sit down and say no. You see the roads being upgraded out there. That's the result of LNG. And the last speaker mentioned something about the government, mentioned something about the institution that is established in Akom, the Hela Open and Teachers College or Technical College, that one. He said that it's the government funded. Well, it is through the LNG. It is through the funding of LNG and the government. You see them walking there. It's and yeah. So the evidence is just right in front of us. We can't just sit and say no. It's right here. How can you deny it when something is right in front of you? And yeah. Yeah, so in order for PNG to really benefit from this, PNG has to wake up. PNG has to stand up for itself, each and every individual. That's why they say that one person makes a difference. It's you, it's up to you. You have to change that mentality. PNG has to change that mentality of being stubborn and idle. We have to wake up and realize that everything is in front of us, and we have to make use of that. 30-year lifespan of LNG is a long time, and PNG is in a better position to learn from other African countries like what the government has said. PNG is in a better position. You wait one tumbuna blue dial well to come kirap na to me bus come road come go ya kirap na come go kim PMB na kisimani ya. Everything is right in front of you. Don't wait, wake up PNG. To conclude, yes. Yeah, so PNG has to wake up. PNG has to wake up because every economy in the country lives independently. We have to make sacrifices like what my fellow team member has said. So to conclude, I believe that my team and I will leave you undoubtedly convinced that LNG has more positive effects for PNG. Thank you.
Round of applause for the final speaker of Highlands Lutheran International School, Stacey Yellow. I think that has brought us to the end of the first elimination round between Highlands Lutheran International School and Coppin Secondary. And the topic for debate is the LNG project is more negative effects for PNG. So round of applause for the two schools.